very similar to the list that Luis was able to win with and move on to the top 8 potentially.
Yeah.
And he's playing against Zachary Schulz, who's playing black-white control.
Chris VanMeter's big difference is no champion of the parish, main deck Obsidat, and main deck Sorin. So he's gone a little bit bigger in the hopes of beating the Jund decks. I imagine that's going to come in handy against Zachary Schultz's black-white control deck as well. It's a pretty removal dense, so a card like champion of the parish not really where you want to be.
Yeah, and it looks like Chris might have had to mulligan this match because he's only got 2 cards left in his hand, and it looks like he's so it looks like Chris mulliganed to 6. Zachary's got a Ratchet Bomb in play, and it has 0 counters on it, so it will be able to deal with those Lingering Souls tokens if it chooses. And he has a second Vampire Nighthawk that was, the first one was dealt with a Tragic Slip. And Nighthawk's a pretty good card in this situation right here.
Yeah. This is a troubling board for Chris. He doesn't have red mana to get his Slayer Stronghold on. The Vampire Nighthawk is incredible against his entire board, and it's, you don't really want to be stuck in a spot where you're burning Tragic Slips on 3-drops. That's not ideal.
Yeah, and right now, Zachary, so Zachary gets to Obsidat before Chris is able to get to a 4th mana. And now, at this point, I think I kind of like...
I'm totally fine swinging with the Nighthawk.
Yeah, I would have swung with the Nighthawk there, I think. I'm surprised that he didn't, especially because you have the Ratchet Bomb, and you're winning that race no matter what. Especially because you just gained 2 and drained 2 with the Obsidat. So, looks like we're going to see... And I also like activating it there because you turn off Tragic Slip if he draws it. Because you want to... I think you want to just keep attacking with your Vampire Nighthawk. Why wouldn't you?
I agree. Like, Chris's attack back, even if he, just starts alphing, it's not that good. He's swinging 6 damage into your lifelinker for 2. That's you're gaining 2 each turn, so it's only 4 damage. So you're basically taking 4 to deal 2, except that you have Obsidat rolling as well.
Yeah.
But
you have an Oblivion.
You're taking 2 to deal 4.
You have an Oblivion Ring too. Why not just Oblivion Ring of that Necromancer? Unless you're afraid of Falcon Retro Scrap, but there's not even any red mana. I think you don't want to give Chris time.
Zachary's playing a real conservative game here. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just one of 2 ways to play it. He has a Restoration Angel, so he can use that to protect his Nighthawk this turn if he wants, and that'll also build him an Air Force, but that's the kind of thing that would have contributed towards an aggressive game plan,
Yeah.
You swing with the Nighthawk, Chris swings back, you Restoration Angel the Nighthawk, eat 2 of his guys, his attack does nothing. Sounds like a dream.
At this point, you play Restoration Angel, and I think you crack that Ratchet Bomb to deal with the Sorin.
You can wait until you see what you draw. There's not really any downside to it at this point, but I agree that you don't want to let Sorin start getting rowdy.
I think you want to. I think you want to activate that Ratchet Bomb and make sure that Sorin leaves play.
Sorin is one of the few cards that is actually powerful enough to help pull Chris out of this.
I kind of like a Oblivion Ring on the Necromancer though, prior to attacking. Because if you want to attack with the Obsidat, why would you let VanMeter block with the Doom Traveler and get 2 tokens out of it?
Yeah. He's letting Chris get some value. Perhaps he's thinking, I'll just hold this Oblivion Ring in case Chris plays another Sorin to make sure I have ways to handle it. But I feel like that's a little loose, mostly because, if you just Oblivion Ring the Necromancer, then all he'd have to defend himself with was a Spirit token, basically. So
at this point, you have Ratchet Bomb, and then he drew another Ratchet Bomb, and
a bounty of riches on Zachary Schultz's side. It's going to be pretty hard for him to lose, actually, regardless of which course he takes at this point.
Decides not to activate the Ratchet Bomb in his turn, so he's leaving himself a little open to Tragic Slip now. But again, Tragic Slip, the card that VanMeter wants to Tragic Slip is the Obsidat, so it probably doesn't matter that much.
I would do nothing with the Ratchet Bomb until Chris's board actually became threatening enough to warrant it, which is not this scenario. Whatever, take my 3.
I thought I thought it was good to crack it last turn just so you can deal with the Sorin, but I agree with you. There's just not enough pressure, and you're gaining too much life to negate it anyway.
We want to maximize the Ratchet Bomb just like we did last turn. I'd be happy using it to kill opponent or kill Sorins. Beyond that, it's not really that great. It locks a lot of Chris's draw steps out as well. Cards like Lingering Souls and Gather the Townsfolk are just close to blank with the Ratchet Bomb already in play. That's a little interesting.
So, post-combat Intangible Virtue. Interesting. So, Obsidat comes back to play, drains Chris again, bringing Zachary up to 24. Looks like Zachary just has 2 lands and an Oblivion Ring in his hand. So at this point, what do you think you do here? Do you still play it cautiously? I mean, you've got 8, 10 power worth of attackers.
Yeah,
You can kill him next turn if you just Oblivion Ring. But then again, you're exposing yourself to Tragic Slip. But
yeah, he's going to Oblivion Ring the Spirit
yeah.
Token to avoid the exposure to Tragic Slip, which I like that. I like that fine.
I like that play. So now Chris is basically dead next turn unless he draws like a Blood Artist and is able to gain some life somehow or deal with the opposite up.
Yep.
Which it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do.
He just took 10. He'll be dead during Zach's upkeep unless he does something, and he has nothing.
So Zachary Schulz managed to defeat Chris VanMeter 2-0 and moves to 7-1 with Black-White Control, hoping to draw in the final round to make top 8 of this SCG Open.
Yeah, that's 2 of our names going down in flames.
2 big names. Chris VanMeter, going down. That's kind of rough there because he was having a good run there. I mean, we've seen Aristocrats win the first round, then we see it lose to Black-White Control. What do you think with all the Aristocrat decks running around? Do you think it was a good choice for the weekend? I mean, a lot of good players are playing it, but we don't see a lot of them doing well with it. I mean, they're making they're X and 2, but I don't, for the caliber player playing it, you'd expect at least 1 or 2 of them to make top 8.
Honestly, the deck has looked pretty good to me. Obviously, we just had Luis, who's likely taking Aristocrats into the top 8. Not one of our